2, right? I guess I'll start in ninth grade. So my mom would make me dress like try to dress me like a girl, and I would hide clothes in the bushes in the backpack for my homies to. I would meet my homies by the backpack. I would put my Levi's, my Vans, and my shirt on, and then go to school. And so I would dress like a dude at school, and then after school I'd go to the bushes, put my girl clothes on, and then fucking go home. And but the problem was I'd get in trouble at school. My mom would have to pick me up, and I'm dressed like a dude. So that didn't work so good. But my first day, my first day of ninth grade was kind of cool because I skateboarded to school, and there was this cholo there. His name was Felix, and I'm like, great, another fucking cholo. Fuck. He had a mustache, but it wasn't like as gnarly as Robert's, and he had he dressed like a cholo. He had like khakis and the Charlie Brown on, and he had cardboard underneath him, and he had a ghetto blaster, and he was listening to Kraftwerk, Tour de France, and he was pop locking. I'd never seen that shit before or heard that music, so I was like, I go, dude, what the fuck, man? Like, he's like, yeah, man, I'm pop locking to this band, you know, they're from like England and shit, and I'm like, dude, that's like great music, and he kind of
pop locking.
Yeah, it's like
a robot.
It's like pop locking, you know, like.
Okay.
You know, he was doing that shit, but without the with the spins and shit. It was just like, you know, but he was my homie, and then I had my skateboard crew, and then ninth grade was kind of a trip because I learned about cliques, like the jock cliques, the popular girl cliques, stoner cliques, like all these cliques, but I never really fit into any of the cliques other than my skateboard clique. And around the mid ninth grade, my mom let me cut my hair, and then they kind of supported the punk movement when I started getting into it because she'd give me $50 and I'd buy secondhand clothes, and then she'd help me taper my work pants, and then I wore like Pendletons, and I wore like winos, and that was basically my outfit. My mom was cool with that because it was like kind of a punk movement, and they were hippies, so they were cool with that shit. So ninth grade, I would take acid at school, and it was like, because I didn't have to hide the alcohol in my locker, and acid was so cool that I would trip out. I never went to school to learn. I just went to school to kind of socialize and learn shit about other like genres of stuff. But I remember one time I was my friend Denny, Dorky Denny, he had a car because he was in a grade above me, and I had one hit of acid left. I go, Denny, you want to take some acid? He's like, yeah. So I'm on his hood of his car, and I get my knife out and I cut it in half, and I give him a piece, and I take a piece, and the fucking yard duty comes up to us, and he's all, hey, Bernal, get over here. I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, I saw you guys smoking. I'm like, we weren't smoking, we were dropping acid. He's like, what the Then he's like tripping out, like, he's like, Danielle, I'm sick of you always joking around. You get to the office right now. So me and Denny have to go to the dean's office, and we're sitting there, kind of like on a bench like this, and we were in there for 30 minutes. I started fucking peeking, you know, and we were laughing at each other, looking at each other, and the dean comes out, and he's all, Bernal, were you smoking cigarettes? I'm like, no, I don't smoke. I was dropping acid. I told the fucking dean that. And the dean's all, I wish you would quit joking around. Give me your fingers. And he smelled our fingers. He's all, you guys weren't smoking. I'm like, I know, we weren't smoking. Damn. He's all, get back to class. And then Denny's like, I can't fucking believe you did that shit, Danielle. Like, you know, I go, they didn't fucking believe me anyways. Like, fucking, you know, we were fucked up. And then I get, my math teacher was named Mr. Toth. And I was laughing so loud. And this all happened in one day. And I was like, me and Denny were laughing in class. And Mr. Toth he would always write "Math is joy" on his fucking chalkboard, and I was like laughing, and I'm like, "What's so joyful about math? This shit sucks." But we were so fucking high. And he's like, "Bernal," I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Go to the dean's office." I'm like, oh, "Fuck." So I go to the dean's office. He gives me a note. I don't even read the note. I'm sitting there, waiting, but I'm still like, now I'm tripping. Like, what the fuck did I do? Like, you know how you get the happy, and then you're like tripping, like, I'm like, I give the dean my note. He's all, why are you sitting here? I'm like, cause Mr. Tuss sent me to the office. He's like, you just need referral slips? I'm like, oh, I guess so. He just sent me to the office to pick up referral slips. It had nothing to do with me getting busted. I'm just sitting there like fucking tripping like. And then I walk in and Mr. Toth told the whole class like, I just sent her to get referral slips. She thinks she's in trouble. And then I come back in and everybody's laughing at me, like pointing at me. I'm like, But so I had volleyball class and there was this kid and this is how like the gothic scene got introduced to me. His name was Mark and he had crimped hair and he was from another school, but I don't know what school he was from. He had pointy shoes with buckles on them, like from Nana's, and he had crimped hair, white face, and his hair was down to here, and he looked like a pretty guy, And I was in volleyball class, and there was jocks in there. This guy named Frank, he was a dick. He had like a jock square head and shit. And I remember when Mark walked in, I'm like, what? Whoa, that dude looks like a trip, man. I was already punk rock and shit, and he was gothic. But never the two shall meet. Like you either were punk rock or you couldn't like gothic, you couldn't like new wave. But I was always undercover liking stuff, like ska and like all the other musics, But I never told my homies like, they say, you like that shit? Nah, man, it's just punk rock discharge. Like I fucking love like Germs, like never was I saying like, oh, I like that song by Susie, So Mark, he's sitting because he didn't dress for class, and Frank was calling him a faggot and all this shit, right? And I'm like, and I see Mark like getting really sad, and I'm like, why don't you shut the fuck up, Frank? And I get the volleyball and I throw it right in his face. I'm like, you're the fucking faggot. You're the one that wants to fuck him, right? He's like, fuck you, Danielle, and he tries to push me, and I move out of the way, and he falls. And then I go. It was time for us to get dressed again, and I go up to Mark and I say, hey, dude, meet me after class. So he's all, fuck, what does this fucking bitch want? Like, this chick's crazy, right? So I go, Mark, you ever heard of that band, OMD? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you know that song Enola Gay? He's all, yeah. I go, do you have it? He's like, yeah. I'm like, is there any way you can tape it for me? He's like, yeah. I'm like, can you take the whole record? He's like, sure. He's all, thanks for sticking up for me. I'm like, yeah, no problem, dude. But can you do me a favor? He's like, what's up? Don't tell anybody that you made me that tape, all right? Like it was this fucking secret, So the next day, in the morning, he used to smoke cloves, and he's all, hey, we used to call cloves vers. Like, hey, Danielle, you want a ver? I shared a ver with him, but I made sure that none of my homies saw me with this like gothic kid, and he secret gave me like the tape. And I had the tape. And my friend Steve, he was my skateboard partner, and he's like, what did Mark give you? I'm like, nothing. Oh, we just gave me a clove for later on. Oh, okay. So I get home. I put in my tape deck. He put Enola Gay like 3 times and then taped the whole record because he knew that was my favorite song. And yeah, he was a good dude. We're still friends. And so around end of 9th grade, I never knew about popularity, like, because I didn't pay much attention to it. But there was this girl, she was in 12th grade, her name was Val. She had a 1959 El Camino with the fins on it, and she was beautiful. She looked like a young Annie Lennox. She was sophisticated beyond her years, like super pretty. And I wore a special shirt to school. And her and her friend were super pretty. And I was skateboarding, and they pulled over, and they asked me if I wanted to go out to eat for lunch. And I never knew that, it was allowed, but it was allowed for the 12th graders. So I got in her car, and they drove, I guess we went to McDonald's. Drove to McDonald's, and I get out of the car, and everybody was looking at me. Like, my homies, like, that skateboarded to McDonald's were like, how the fuck did you get Val Walker to give you a ride? I'm like, I don't know, she just asked me if I wanted to go. And, like, I got kind of this, like, respect that I never had before, by hanging out with Val. And it kind of made me feel, like cool, And although I didn't have a friendship with her, I always admired her because she would go to Hollywood and go to shows and stuff, and she dressed really cool, and she had the cool car, and I wanted not to be like her, because she was like more rockabilly kind of new wavy, but I needed to know the Hollywood scene. And I planned with my friend to run away the summer of going into 10th grade. We good?
Oh, this one has storage full.
Okay. Why don't we just do it on the video, on the...
We can, but, people want to see you in action.
Just,
Okay, just...
only pay half of it and then go to the audio.
Yeah, I can do that.
So I got this idea to run away with my friends. Is it going?
Mm-hmm.
9th grade going into 10th grade. Some shit happened just with my parents. I wasn't getting along with them. And then Steve, his mom was a biker and his brother was that methaqualude maker guy. And one day me and Steve had stole the bike, and we got this idea: if we painted it pink, nobody would know that it was a stolen bike. So we were listening to Rodney on the Rock, and we were painting this bike pink, and his mom was in the house, and we were like, Jeff's shit's not in here. It's so weird. Like, all of a sudden, the door is smashed open, and SWAT is in the house. And me and Steve look at each other. We're like, who the fuck bike was this? Because we think it's like, oh my God, we didn't know that we could get in so much trouble stealing a bike. They brought us at gunpoint into,
oh my God.
But into where the mom is, and they already had her down on the ground gunpoint. Me and Steve on the ground gunpoint, and they were ripping everything apart, like just looking for drugs. Like even her flower, they you got a knife and opened it and everything. It was, and they had us literally at gunpoint. And I just look at Steve, and he was like, "We gotta get out of here." And shit wasn't going too great at my house either, And the kids that were into punk rock that were older than me kind of treated me and Steve poorly because we made our own clothes, and maybe our pants weren't tapered quite like 7.5. Maybe we tapered them at 6.5. It was like it came to down to that kind of shit, and they were more like the wealthy type of kids. So we were ostracized and even in our own like kind of punk scene in Santa Clarita. So we made this plan. There was me, Steve, and this kid named Don, and I ran away. They came and got me at like 2:00 in the morning, and we hitchhiked to this girl's house that I was kind of seeing, and this girl Janice. She looked like Bette Midler, not an attractive girl, but like super creative and a good artist. So we hitchhiked to her house, and we were fucking starving. We had like just a little bit of money because we worked at the swap meet, and we had stole a bunch of money, and we were waiting for our ride to take us to the bus station, and we were hungry, and we tell Don, hey, go in the liquor store and buy us some food, dude. We had given him $1. He comes back with a pack of gum. I'm like, how are we gonna eat a fucking pack of gum? He goes back and gets us chips, takes the gum back, and I go, dude, we gotta ditch this guy. Like, how can we live on the streets when motherfucker wants to survive on a pack of gum, like chewing, he ain't got no common sense. We gotta ditch his ass. So we ditched Donnie, thank God. And then we take a Greyhound to Hollywood, and I think the Greyhound station was on Sunset, and it's about midnight.
Coinga and
Is it Sunset?
Hollywood, yeah.
Oh,
Coinga and
Coinga.
Selma, in between Franklin and Hollywood.
That's where it is.
I live by that.
So, oh yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a party at your pad that one time. Was it? That's when I first met you. No. Oh, anyways, so we have our backpacks, our skateboard, and our leather jackets, right? And it's like about midnight, 1:00 in the morning, and the realness of being homeless sets into me and Steve, and we're like, dude, what are we gonna do? Like, we both didn't want to tell each other we were both scared. We're just like, fuck it, let's just skate. And so we're skating around. we make our way to Melrose, and at this point it's like, God, 3 a.m, and we're fucking tired. And I'm like thinking, man, maybe we should just go home, but I didn't want to tell him that shit because we were in a lot of trouble. And I see this woman across the street, and she's like, "Hey, you kids, get over here!" And we skate across the street, and she's all, "What the fuck are you guys doing here?" We're like, "We ran away from home." And she's like, "What are you gonna do with your shit?" "Hide it in bushes." And she's like, "Your shit's gonna get stolen. Those dumbass kids." It was Lydia. And we're like, "Well, we just ran away from home, you know, like, we don't know what to do. We're just gonna, like, where are you gonna sleep? We don't know." So she's all, right when she's like reprimanding us, right? This, like, it looked like a 1948 Plymouth. Jumps, like, comes barreling down Melrose, up on the curb, says, "Lydia, get in the fucking car." And it's this woman that looks like Marilyn Monroe, right? And I look at Lydia, who's this butch woman, and I see this old car, which I love old cars, and I see this woman that looks like Marilyn Monroe, which I love Marilyn Monroe. And I'm like, this is the shit, man. This is why we're here, Steve. Like, fuck. So she tells us to get in the backseat of the car. She gets in the front seat. She tells Donna, like, her girlfriend, you know, "I picked up these 2 kids. They don't know where they're going, what they're doing, you know. I want to help them." And Donna's like, "You can't even help yourself." But Lydia was managing the Go-Go's, the Cramps, and X at that time. And the Go-Go's was playing Solid Gold, and the studio was down Melrose, and she had gotten in a big fight with Donna, and she was walking home, and that's when she caught us. And she told us this in the car, and we're like, "What the fuck? Like, dude, this is awesome." And she like lets us go into her apartment, and she asks us for our licenses, and we're like, "We don't have licenses, dude. We're 15. She's like, "What do you got?" I'm like, "School IDs?" She's like, "Give us your school IDs." So we give her, I go, "What do you want our school IDs for?" And she's, "Because if you rip me off, I can fucking find you guys." I'm like, "Okay." And then I look on her fridge, and she has fucking pictures of the Go-Go's, the Cramps, fucking Exene. I'm just like, fucking hell, this is so fucking cool. And she's like, "You guys ain't sleeping in my house." We're like, "Oh." So go downstairs and sleep in the car. In the morning, come back up, and I'll make you oatmeal. I'm like, "Okay." So me and Steve go down, we sleep in the old car. And we're talking like, "Oh my God, like, this is so bitchin'. Like, you know, we're so starstruck." And we wake up in the morning, she comes and gets us, lets us take showers, and feeds us. And she says, "I'm going to teach you guys how to survive the streets of Hollywood. You just got to listen to me. Don't go to Errol Flynn's mansion. Don't go to Okie Dogs. And don't go squatting in a hotel hell." We're like, "Okay." And then we get a full belly, and we're all clean. I look at Steve, I'm like, "We need to go Okie Dogs." So we find out where Okie Dogs is, and it was on Santa Monica Boulevard. It's now a Fat Burger, and it was so cool. It was all these punks. There was like, it was a crew of people, Bob Two-Tone, Baby Crazy, Skinhead Jay, and they kind of just took us in, just because we're punks, and kind of taught us, like, you know, like how to panhandle. Now I don't know. This woman, or she was a kid. She was albino. She had pink eyes and pink and like white hair, and she was in the crew too. But I don't know her name. And then it was such a tribe of kids that they knew I was gay and they were cool with it. Like Bob Two-Tone made up this song. "I never met a dyke I didn't like, especially she rides a big old bike." And, like, and it didn't make me sad. Like, I was like, cool that he was singing that shit, because like, that's me, you know. And we would go up to Errol Flynn's mansion, which is now Runyon Canyon, and we would roll photographers there and steal their camera equipment. And alongside of Okie Dogs was a like a pawn shop like trailer, and we would get money. And then across the street was a liquor store that would sell us alcohol, and then you can buy fries, an okie dog, and a drink for $5, and that would feed 3 of us. And then we have money to go to shows like at the Vax, Cathay de Grand, and I lived like that for a whole summer, and it was so cool. But I started learning really bad stuff. Like the albino girl, I don't know her name, but because I was so skinny and little, we would go into Denny's, and I don't know if I can get arrested for this at this time, but I'm just gonna say my fake name is Danielle Santos Bernal. So I went in. What we would do is we'd go to Denny's, and we would turn off the lights. It was before they had those weird light things where you have to put a key in to turn the lights off. They had regular light switches there. So we'd turn the light switches off. Once women would be, and their purses would always be on the ground. So I'd crawl underneath and steal all the purses and run out of Denny's.
No way.
Yeah.
You could turn off the lights in the whole restaurant.
No, just in the bathrooms.
Oh, in the bathroom.
Yeah, in the stalls.
Oh.
So I'd crawl under and get all the fucking purses.
Oh, it's like pitch dark, so you could just go yank. And
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then run out. Isn't that
Hell
awesome?
yeah,
right?
That was the albino's idea? Or...
Yeah, because I was too young to think of stuff, but I was down to do whatever, especially if it got me alcohol and food and tickets to go to shows, and we did that all around. Like we started at the Denny's on Sunset, and that Denny's, the Rock, it's like by it sounds
Ralph's, that one.
Yeah, there's
Sunset and Gower.
That's the Sunset and Gower one, the first one we hit, and then we did about 3 other ones. We go back, and at this point I had bleach white hair. So everybody's like, they're stoked about the money that we're getting, but not stoked because word got around, and the cops started showing around okie dogs looking for unusual suspects, which there was 50 of us. So I'm like, I got this idea, and with the albino girl to like dye our hair black. So we went into another restaurant. What was it? Norm's, and we had the dye. We're dyeing our hair black, and then we got kicked out. So we hurried up, and literally my dye and my hair was like on for like 1 minute, and I dried it. I got paper towels. I dried it, dude. It turned vibrant blue. It was fucking horrible because like I wanted a Sid Vicious hair, because my hair stuck up all over the place. I came out with fucking like missing person's hair, dude. Like it was fucked up.
Why was wrong with blue?
Because that's not punk. Because everybody's like, when I got back to Okie Dogs, everybody, I think I'll dye my hair blue, like singing missing person songs. I'm like, this fucking sucks, dude. And then the albino chick, the black dye just ran out of her hair. It didn't even hold. So she's fucking like, we didn't get busted for that shit, but what happened was my girl that I was seeing, Janice, her dad worked at a printing place, and she had like 100 posters of Billy Idol. He was like sprawled out with his hand in his boot. It was like a really big poster, and she had like 100 of them, and she wanted to come see me because she missed me. And I'm like, I would call her all the time on the payphone, and her and her friend Teresa, like we'd go to phases together when I was in in Santa Clarita. They would go take me to dance clubs like Phases, Odyssey, like all these like new wave dance clubs, because they were kind of new wave but like punk too. But as long as my homies didn't know I was double dipping, it was all right, So, but we were kind of in love. I think that was actually my first girlfriend. So she came to Hollywood with this pack of posters, and we were selling them all up and down Posers. Like Posers bought some. The Soap Plant was there. They bought some. There was a couple record shops that bought some. So we had money. She had brought money, and Teresa was really pretty. And Steve was also like, he kind of hooked up with Teresa, and we had like our little crew of like Santa Clarita people, and then we were like all with the Hollywood, like HRP, Hollywood Rap Patrol people. I wasn't jumped into the gang, but I hung out with them. I never really joined a gang at all, but I hung out with gangs. I never really wanted to. I don't think I could have. I'm not a joiner. I don't think I could have. I don't like making one thing my everything, because when one thing goes bad and it's your everything, you're kind of fucked, So I was aware enough about that not to do that. So there was a time where Steve wanted to go, and Baby Crazy, Bob Tooth, and they wanted to go rob this house. And they were all going to do it, and Janice like, it's my last day here, let's just stay at Okie Dogs and kick back. I'm like, all right, But we were squatting all together and everything, the crew. But she just wanted to stay back and like hang out, and you know, we made out and stuff at Okie Dogs, and I remember making out with her, and that song by Men at Work, Overkill, came on, and that's like a moment where I knew I loved Janice, because that song, I don't know, every time I hear it, it reminds me of her. But apparently they all got caught. Steve ended up trying to get away, and he tried to jump over this 15-foot wall and landed on his face, and he had to go to the hospital. And Janice went home, and I was on the streets by myself. And I didn't know Steve, because there's no cell phones in that time, so I didn't know what happened. I was just by myself hanging out with everybody. But I think it was the last time I saw Bob Two-Tone, Baby Crazy, and Skinhead Jay. And then I was like, nobody's at Okie Dogs, like, it's weird. So I went to squat and like slept. And then I went back to Okie Dogs in the morning, and nobody wanted to hang out with me. I was like, this is really strange. Like, I must have did something, but I don't know what the fuck I did. And then I think Bob Two-Tone tells me, Lydia's been looking for you, and word on the street is, you're in trouble. And Lydia was like a down-ass bitch. Like, you don't want to fuck with her, you know, apparently, because nobody want to hang out with me. So I'm like, fuck, what did I do? And where's Steve? So finally I'm at Okie Dogs, and Lydia rolls up with Donna, and she's like, get in the fucking car. And I get in the car, and she tells me Steve's in the hospital. He got hurt jumping a wall trying to rob this place. He told your mom and dad where I live, so your dad gave me $30 to put you on the fucking Greyhound, and I gave him my fucking word. And Donna was with her, and they took me to Los Tacos to eat on Santa Monica Boulevard. It's like my last meal, and I was getting put on the bus, the Greyhound bus, and in line I told Lydia, I go, they beat me, and she said, Danielle, I'm putting you on the bus. That's what I told your parents I would do. What you do from the bus is not my fucking problem. And I'm like, and then Donna hits her and says, don't fucking tell her that. She needs to go home. But I'm like, oh, that's smart. I'm fucking gonna go to Magic Mountain. So because at Magic Mountain, I called my friend Andy, and I said, look, I'm
Andy?
No, not Andy, not that guy. A girl, Andy, Panda. I called Panda. I said, Panda. She's a high school friend of mine. Aren't you in Hollywood? No. They found out where I was, so like, I'm at the bus. Yeah, I'm at a Greyhound bus station in Santa Clarita. Can you come get me? So she comes and gets me, and she's got in Magic Mountain. There was a dance club called Contempo, and the good thing about Magic Mountain was they had fucking bands play there every Saturday, like Bow Wow Wow, Psychedelic Furs, the Bangs before they were the Bangles. Who else did I see there? Endless amounts of new wave bands, you know, but there was punks also that hung out there, so it was okay to be there. Just pretend you don't like the music, you know. But but I remember meeting Bow Wow Wow, and I had my Discharge shirt on, and they knew of Discharge, and I got to talk to Annabella and the band, and she was so pretty, and they signed my shirt. I was like, fuck, this is rad. But I stayed away from home for a while until I went to a house party. And I hated cops because they would just beat me if they would see me. They didn't like my element in Santa Clarita. And there was a house party. The cops went in to go bust the party, but they made a mistake of leaving their car running. I'm fucking drunk as fuck, and I don't give a fuck, and I hate cops. Not only do I hate cops, there's this motherfucker in the back seat who's Mr. Punk Rock, who I've never seen at a show. His name's Stuart. But he's got all the great clothes, and used to call me poser in 9th grade, and because I used to write my own bands on my shirt in a Sharpie, you know what I mean? And he had like screen press shit, you know, and he was cuffed up in the back seat. What I did, I put that shit in drive. I fucking pressed the fucking gas. I rolled out of the car, cop car. It smashed into the fucking garage and crashed into the 2 cars that were parked in the garage. I tell Stuart, you fucking tell anybody, motherfucker, I'm gonna kill your fucking ass. And at that point, That's crazy.
Who's punk rock now?
Who's punk rock now, bitch? Fuck you, bitch. You're fucking new wave, homie. You're worse than new wave. You're new romantic. So I'm like, everybody, like the crowd knew I did it. But when they asked Stuart who did it, he said, I don't know, some long hair that went walking down that way running. And I look at Stuart and I say, cool, man. And I'm sitting there and they're fucking like, we all met at 7-Eleven. Man, they were putting me on their fucking shoulders like, yeah, it was like, we won, you know? And then I ended up stealing some shit from garages. And I got busted. But what I did was I put a pink sweater on and dressed kind of feminine. And I was in jail. I was in Santa Clarita. And my mom got me out because I hadn't been home. And when I had to talk to the detectives like a week later, I go, Mom, I didn't do that shit. And they said, well, you were seen in a pink sweater going into garages and stealing alcohol and food. I'm like, my mom's like, she don't own nothing pink. And I'm like, I don't own nothing pink, not me. So I went home. My parents let me come back home. But the problem was, I had this, like a feral cat. Like I had the taste of the streets. And I trying to go back to school with that yearning of being free was not working for me. You know, so I would commit crimes, trespassing, and I would go to jail a lot, like throughout like 9th or 10th grade. And I finally, my dad was, you know, when the cops brought me home one time, the cops hated me. And they told my dad's like, she won't stay at home, I don't know what to do. So they told my dad to tie me up.
Oh, shit.
So my dad hogtied me.
Wow.
In the fucking hallway with speaker wire. And I had 2 sisters and a brother. And every time my dad would walk by me, he'd kick me or do something like punch me, you know. And my brothers and sisters would witness this. And, you know, I never knew how much it affected them until a couple years ago my sister Brooke remembered that incident, you know. My dad unties me at like 5 o'clock in the morning because my dad was a meat cutter. And he had me weed the cactus garden at 5 in the morning. And I'm in the middle of this cactus garden getting poked. I'm like, how the fuck do you weed a cactus garden? You know, like, that's torturous. And he's all, see, this is what you fucking get. And when you're done with that, and I said in the middle of the cactus garden, I said, as soon as you leave, I'm out of here. And he couldn't exactly run at me because I'm in the middle of the cactus garden. So as soon as he left, I hopped the fence and I never went back home. I was 15. And I went and lived just couch surfing. And I would go to school because it was a source of me to eat and to find out where I could sleep at what friend's house and stuff. But the problem was, I was, my mom and dad called the cops on me as a habitual runaway. And I was in Mr. Toe's class because I got to take his class again. And I remember looking through the windows of Mr. Toe's class because it kind of overlooked the campus. And I'm like, oh, there's sheriffs here. I wonder where they're going. That's weird. Somebody must have did something really fucked up. And they kept coming closer. And then they opened the fucking door. And I'm like, they can't be here for me. Maybe they're going to say something about, like be safe and don't do drugs. Hey, is Danielle Bernal here? And I'm like, I scoot down on my chair and I'm like, Mr. Tosal, yeah, right there. They cuff me up in math class and walk me out.
So you're in math class.
Yeah.
And where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, but I was a runaway. So they take me to Selmar Juvenile Hall. And I'm there.